Hey everybody, my name is David Barnes. I'm part of the Emerging Technologies group at IBM. And in this video, I want to show you the coolest project going on in our group right now, and it's called IBM Mobile Identity. Now, when you consider that we have about 150 million driver's licenses in the United States and a gazillion other loyalty cards and membership cards and identification cards that we carry around in our purses or wallets. Now, at the same time, we have over 200 million smartphones, phones that most of us will never leave home without, yet we carry around a bunch of plastic ID cards. What's up with that? Well, our group decided it was time to totally rethink identity management, bring it forward in time, and make it digital. And that's why we created IBM Mobile Identity. Now, I'll be creating other videos where I go more in depth on what's behind the scenes, but in this video, I just want to show it to you in action. Now, in the world of identity, there are usually three different parties. There's the issuer, the owner, and the verifier. In this case, I'm going to use an example of a police officer that pulls me over and asks me for my ID. So the issuer is the Department of Motor Vehicles. The owner, me, the guy with the ID, and the verifier is the police officer. For the owner, it couldn't be easier. I install the owner app, the Mobile Identity Owner app, on my phone. Something really important is that that application is specific to my phone and my phone's UDID, the Unique Device Identifier. When I get the app, I launch it, give it my fingerprint, and then I go to the Department of Motor Vehicles, request my driver's license, and there it is. Now, a couple things I want to point out. One, the North Carolina DMV is not currently part of the IBM mobile ecosystem. We just have a lot of developers there, and they decided to use their home state as an example. What I really want to point out is what happened behind the scenes. When I requested my license back at the DMV, it was put into a crypto blob. Yes, it's called a crypto blob, and it has a special security key. So when the license came down to the app on my phone, it can only be opened by the app on my phone. So that's the owner. Then there's the verifier, in this case, the police officer. Same thing. Install the verifier app, in this case, on their phone, give it their fingerprint, and there they see the roles that they're able to perform as a North Carolina law enforcement officer. Now, I'll go into roles more in another video. That's too much for this video. But it's essentially what the officer is able to do, what tasks they're able to perform, and what information they can ask from me. So let's go into the scenario. I'm going to, we'll start from scratch here. So I'm going to close down the application here. I will close down the application here, and I have performed a traffic violation. And by the way, I swear I had my car in autonomous driving mode, but I performed a traffic violation. An officer pulls me over. The officer goes to their phone. They open the verifier app, give it their fingerprint. They say they want to perform a challenge, new challenge. As a North Carolina law enforcement officer, I want to look at the driver's license. I review my request and I say, connect. And then I put the phone in my pocket, and that's really important. And I'll point that out in a moment. As the person that's been pulled over, the owner, I go ahead and launch the owner app, fingerprint in, click the same icon on the bottom, waiting for the challenge. I see that this is the law enforcement officer. Yep, that's it. You can see that that's him or her, in this case him. I say okay. I connect to the verifier device, so these two are talking to each other right now. And once they've done so, I say I want to send an auto response. It's done. The officer looks at their phone. There's the response. Click on that. There's the driver's license. Yep, looks good. Go back over here. Looks good. Terrific. I'll finish there. And the officer has received my identification. Very cool and very secure. A couple things I want to point out here. The first one is around officer safety, and the other is protecting our personal information. Regarding officer safety, let me go back out of here, go into the settings here for the device profile. The officer in that photo is a good friend of mine, a very, very good friend since we were kids. To me, the most important thing is his safety. Remember, he put the phone in his pocket. We have auto challenge, so when he approaches the vehicle, he never has to get within arm's reach, and he never has to take his eyes off the driver. Hands free, eyes on. When he receives the ID, the phone vibrates. The other thing I want to point out is over here you may have noticed I have multiple IDs. IBM Mobile Identity isn't about just storing one ID, although you can use it that way. You can store multiple IDs. In fact, there is no limit to how many IDs you can store. Each of our IDs have different traits, and I'm going in depth in traits in another video. But what I want to say here is that from the very beginning of this project, our primary consideration was about protecting our personal information. And using traits, we've developed a way so that we can share just the information that we want to share. Before I wrap this up, I want to answer the most frequently asked question, which is, what if they were offline? What if it's a fish and game officer in the middle of nowhere with 0 bars? No problem. And I cannot emphasize this enough. IBM Mobile Identity works even when it's not connected. As I said in the beginning, we have totally rethought identity management, and there is far more than I can put in a short video. If you want to learn more, or if you're interested in engaging with us in a pilot around IBM Mobile Identity, you can visit our website at mi.ibmjstart.com.